grab your engineering notebook and let's talk about universal design. So, universal design is really about designing something that is good for everybody. So, I'm going to have a little pencil icon up here if there's something that I would like you to write down. So, there's nothing in this particular page. So, let's just chat about it. Older people and adults with disabilities were a small minority in the early 1900s, and that trend continues to grow as more and more people become older and disabled. So, why is that? That seems kind of weird, right? Well, it's because we have better healthcare and better nutrition, and so people are actually living longer and they're not dying of certain diseases. So because of that, they're living with disabilities and they're living longer. And there you go. So, because of that, we've had some federal legislation that has served to help these people. And we don't need to note these down, but I will have you note one later on. Started with this Architectural Barriers Act in 1868. And then we had another one in 73 and 88. And all of these things are making it more and more available and accessible for people with disabilities. Well, all of that kind of came to lead towards the Americans with Disabilities Act. This is what I want you to note down. So as I'm speaking about this, you can either pause it or write it down. But that happened in 1990, and it's typically referred to as ADA. So maybe you've heard that before. Something has to be ADA compliant. That means Americans with Disabilities Act. And the main idea here is that it requires a barrier-free access to all government type buildings and public buildings. So all physical barriers have to be removed. Everything has to be accessible to everybody as long as it's a federal government building. So that's kind of the main idea there. Make sure you note that down. And so, what really is universal design? It's really the design of products and environments to be usable by everybody without need for special adaptation or design. Now, the purpose of that then is so that everyone can use it, not just people with disabilities, but anybody, whether it's small children, if it's adults, others with special needs, whatever it might be, everybody can use it equally. That's the idea behind universal design. It's a broad spectrum. It helps everybody. It also requires some sensitivity and knowledge about individuals of all ages and abilities, and recognize the importance of all inclusive solutions. You don't want a solution that works only for people that are really tall or that are really short, because then it's just not convenient for people. So that's another idea behind universal design. It really is just good design. So, other principles, we want to make sure that it is equitable for individuals with diverse abilities. It's flexible. It accommodates a wide range of preferences. It's simple and easy to use. So, it doesn't matter about their experience, knowledge, skill level. Um, People can just use it very easily. Perceptible information, it communicates necessary information effectively to the user, regardless of other conditions. So if there's other things going on, if it's dark in a room or, depending on the conditions in the room. Other tolerance for error is another principle of universal design. It minimizes hazards for just adverse consequences or accidental or intended actions. Low physical effort used for universal design, and appropriate size and space provided regardless of their body size, posture, or mobility. Think about people that might be in a wheelchair, and there might be some different mobility issues or the size of wheelchairs and those kind of things. So that is the idea behind universal design. So the next thing I want you to write down are some of these bullet points here. So room layout should allow wheelchair access and space to enter and close the door. So for that to happen, you need to have wide doorways. They should be 36 inches. Note that down. Hallways should be 42 inches wide. Note that down. You're going to need to make sure your design meets universal design criteria. 36-inch wide doorways for the public spaces and 42-inch hallways for the hallways. Switches, we're not going to put these in phone jacks, but they should be at these specific heights. These are not important for our design. And then easy to use appliances, front load washer dryer. Well, we're not necessarily going to have a user that has the need for these very specific things. These might be specific to a user, but these things here are oftentimes just built into all designs just to make it so that it works for anybody. Next thing is accessible entrance. If you have a client or somebody that needs to be able to get into a house without stairs, then you're going to put a ramp in. We're going to design for that. So we have a ramp. You see this picture on the bottom, has this ramp. It has some stairs here also for others to access, and also an overhang for protection from weather and things like that. So those are things that we will put in. There's also things for bathrooms like grab bars for future needs. You can see a grab bar right here. So that'll be something that some of you will choose to put in. You can do adaptable cabinets, a space under sinks for wheelchairs to go in. That'll be up to you. but that is not something that I'm going to require. And the accessible bathroom layout will be a rectangular space, a square space that is equal to the size of a wheelchair to make sure that someone who needs to use the bathroom can get out of the wheelchair and be able to use that and have the door still close. So that is what an accessible bathroom layout should entail. So here is one of three questions I'd like you to answer. Which law requires barrier-free access to state and local government projects, commercial facilities, and public accommodations? And that is letter D. Question number two. What should the width of interior doorways be to meet universal design guidelines? And that is A, 36 inches. And question three. What should the width of interior hallways be to meet universal design guidelines? And the answer to that is 42 inches. It's also the answer to everything. So that is it for this particular lesson.